So we start our class now. Okay, let me do a little bit recapitulation. So class, take a look. Okay, so basically, all right. So class, take a look. Let me see how. It is recording already. Okay, we already finished part 1, the preliminaries. Part 2, the division of the teaching. Now we are in part 3, the Dharma common to the 5 vehicle. And now we are in the part 4, the Dharma common to the 3 vehicle. All right. Okay. So later on, I mean the next lesson, we'll go back to the preliminary again. So you all retrogress actually. Okay. So now we will try to further to the, the 3 vehicle. We are about to finish. Congratulations to all of you. So let's take a look now. So we finished stage 1, stage 2, and stage 3. And now we let's see stage 3 we finished. Stage 4 we already finished. It's about the explanation that all the path of practice can be categorized into 37. So now we are in the stage 5, explanation that the practitioner of the two vehicle all gain the same sense of nirvana. This is about the stage 6 and 7. It's about the Fuyan and also the Prajaka Buddha. They are married. Okay. So let's take a look. So to the notes. Okay. So let's see. We are in the verses number 9104. Okay. Okay. So we start immediately the result of practicing the way of the 2 vehicle. Sorry, regarding the original text, is there anyone really go through the original text which was assigned weeks ago? You really go through to roughly read through it. Elena, no. How about Sally? You didn't?
No.
You didn't?
For this one, no.
No.
Haven't done yet.
Oh, haven't done it. Okay. Never mind, you have to do one day. Because no matter how, you have to go back to the original text. Especially if, let's say, next time, you met for other master. If both of us speak something, I mean, there's a controversy issue between us. You have the only way you can do is go back to original text and scrutiny by yourself. Get it? So that's why we have to train you to go back to original text. By the way, I see Mr. Leong have gone through quite a number of original texts, so he know. So sometimes, if let's say 2 masters say things differently, it could be both are correct, but just a different interpretation from the original text, because the text sometimes is so simple and so open-ended. Second, maybe one of us are wrong. One of us is wrong. Maybe either he wrong or I wrong. That's a possible. Then mainly this is the 2 reasons why once there's a controversy. And the third one maybe we based on different commentary. We based on different commentary. Then we interpret differently. Okay. As you know, now what we study is from the Sawasdiwadin. But the Abhidhamma I'm teaching is from the Tauya Timsao. You see, it is 2 different schools. You see how. And the fourth, we interpret with our different perception. Sometimes, of course, it is unavoidably that I will have to use my own perception to interpret the sutta. It is quite common. Even though meditation, like Mr. Leong, you know that we put our own perception. So finally, in order to, you want to get rid of, remove all this element, you have to go through by yourself. Okay, so it's possible you try to go back and read, because you are so lucky because original text in English so easily understandable compared with the classical Mandarin. Oh, that one Chinese is very heavy. Quite lucky. Okay. All right. So now let's go through. Okay, 104. It seems Mr. Leong in a good condition without frozening. So can you please read it out?
The results of practicing the way of the 2 vehicles, verse 104. These are practiced by the sages and are realized by them. the sages of the three vehicles experience the same emancipation and enter the city of Nirvana. The doctrine of liberation that transcends this world, that is, the doctrines of the four truths, dependent origination, the three studies, and the eightfold right path of the truth of the way, is as explained above. These doctrines are practiced by the sages and are realized by them. Neither practice nor realization depart from them, for they are the true dharma, as expounded by Sikhamuni Buddha himself. In no other doctrine can one take refuge, that is, no other path for liberation, and no other everlasting home to which to return. This is what Buddhists should firmly believe, accept, and practice without doubt. All the sages of the three vehicles, Sravakas, Pacheka Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, and Buddhas, follow this single true Dharma and experience the same emancipation. Just as many different rivers and streams enter the sea, which always has the same salty taste, all sages enter the city of Nirvana and attain ultimate rest. The treatise says, three animals cross the river, three birds flee the net. Although they differ in the width of water that they cross or in the distance that they fly, they still cannot separate themselves from the white river or the sky. Therefore, it is said, and the three vehicles occupy the same seat of emancipation.
Okay, thank you so much. Can anybody check for me the references of number 54? From what sutra is it? Huh?
DZ18.
Again?
DZ18.
TZ80.
D for Denmark.
Exactly. Oh, okay, so what is the name of it?
DZ is Daiziludulun.
Okay, 大智度论哦，好 ，OK，
Daiziludulun.
Sally,
Yeah.
that is chapter 5, right? We are only under chapter 4.
Chapter 4. Hey,
Taiwan?
sorry.
Yeah,
yeah,
it should be the
sorry.
Abhidhamma.
Should be Abhidhamma. Sorry. I looked at the wrong.
No, I think should be correct. Hey, wait. That is from 大智度论 is correct. Oh, hey, check again. This is chapter 4. Yes, 54.
Yeah, chapter 4,
54 is Abhidhamma.
Abhidhamma.
Mahavihasa.
Sastra.
Oh no. Okay. Sastra is not Abhidhamma. Yeah. You can say it's Abhidhamma, but usually we call it as a Sastra. Yes, it is this, right? Can you read out the name? Actually, tutor is correct.
That's tutor is for the next chapter.
Is this name, let's see. Okay. Is this Mahaprajna Paramito Pastesa? Or we call it the treatise on the great profession of wisdom? No, it doesn't say.
No.
No, it's not.
No.
No.
But it's what sastra? Mahawa sastra.
Abhidhamma hyphen Mahavihasa Sastra 143.
Mahavihasa sastra. Okay, that should be different translation. But maybe you're right in English. You will know that. English is the treatise on the great perfection of wisdom. You have to write it down. The reason is the coming chapter, a lot of information has been coded and based on this sastra. Please copy it down. Okay. Maybe you just put it, just somewhere which is obvious for you. Well, without knowing the Mandarin, there will be some difficulty to understand all these classical Chinese texts. Okay, class, basically now what we talk about that, there's a Pratyeka Buddha, Sravaka, and also the Bodhisattva. Three of them experienced emancipation.
Beautiful.
Yes, anything?
The treatise on the great perfection of wisdom, isn't it the Heart Sutra?
Not the Heart Sutra. Well, let me explain a bit for you. Okay, this treatise is the commentary. This is the commentary to the Mahaprajna Paramita Sastra.
That is the Heart Sutra.
Oh, okay. Mahaprajna Paramita is the Heart Sutra is a summary from the Mahaprajna Paramita. It's a summary. Mahaprajna Paramita totally is 600 volume, but it has been summarized become Heart Sutra, which carry only 200 character only. See, so great the summarize. The summary is so, so extensively been summarized. Okay, all right. Okay, so I mean to say that. According to what we studied just now, three of them are Sravaka, Pratyeka Buddha, and also the Buddha. They all complete 37 bhujanga, Patika Samuppada, 4 noble truths. They go through all the same thing. And according to the text that say you have to be confident that all the Buddha and also all the sages, they're enlightened by practice all these 37 bhujanga. So they say you have to be confident to it. So this is the reason why if Sally or Elena, you encounter some Theravada devotee, you'll notice that they always keep on mentioning that, I'm so confident with the 4 noble truths. I'm so confident with 8 noble path. Have you ever discovered it? No, because you never mix with them. You mix with auntie who always bow to the Tabi Chan or this so you don't know. If really you mix with them, their trends is a little bit different from us. They always mention 4 noble truth, 8 noble path due to the teaching as what we mentioned just now. Okay, according to the reference just now, you could what Sally could he said 3 animals they are crossing. They will experience the same thing. What does that mean? The 3 animal. The 3 animal meaning to say that rabbit, horse, and the elephant. Once they cross the river, 3 of them are successfully crossing the river. Okay, but there will be some difference in crossing the river. It's just like the level of nibbana is a little bit different. So for example, you see elephant. Okay, well, elephant, you see this is the river, right? This is the bed of the river. Huh? Can you stay at me? I'm giving an example. Huh? So this is the elephant, you see. So once the elephant try to cross the river, so the food will just step on the bed. So this is what elephant, right? Second is the horse. Once horse try to cross the river, sometimes the leg will touch the bed of the river, sometimes it doesn't. It go like this. Okay. So but finally, it is still able to cross the river. So the third is the rabbit. So once rabbit try to swim, of course the rabbit because the rabbit is very short, you see, so the leg cannot reach to the bed. Okay, so it just, it crossed the river. The rabbit crossed the river, but in a shallow, without touching the bed, but still finally crossed the river. So the analogy for crossing the river, just like experience the nibbana. Okay, but how deep how you experience the nibbana, it's just whether the foot of that particular animal can reach the bed. You get, that's the meaning. So that's why I highlight how the three animal crossing the river is so famous in this sutra to describe the sage. Okay, but one question I would like to ask you: can rabbits swim actually?
Can rabbit swim?
Really, right? So meaning to say, you say whatever stated in the sutra is something wrong in some way, right?
Yes.
Maybe you're guessing, right? Okay, never mind. Let me try to show you something. See whether it is true or not true. Wait a moment. All right. Okay.
See on the
Okay, class, please enjoy the video clip to prove that whether you are right or you are wrong. Surprise, right, Sally? I also thought something wrong with the sutra, you know. But when I go to the Google search, oh, the rabbit can really swim. See, you know. Well,
But then,
something quite surprised. We never expect the bunny can really swim, you see, or not.
then Sifu, just now the commentator did say this is a special species of rabbit.
No,
It's
anyway,
not a common.
no.
It's not a common one.
The sutra are able to quote the species which are able to swim. We need to because, the history of the sutra is about 1,000 years ago, you know. So meaning to say they are able to get the 1,000 years ago rabbit who are able to swim. So I mean that technology through observation is by facts, not guessing only. All right, no? Okay. So meaning to say that quite surprised. Okay, so let's go back to the original text. Okay, so let's continue. So the three animals crossing the river, you have to remember this. Okay, next, 105. Okay, shall we torture Mr. Leong since his condition is so good?
Yes.
It disappeared already, you see. Once we want to torture. Let's Sally, your turn to read.
Don't talk to me. Okay. 105.
Both of them frozen. Sally, you are frozen, Sally.
Way to
Elena, you read.
emancipation, planting, maturing, and liberating quickly or slowly, pattern origination. First, regardless of whether they are Savakas, Pajaka Buddhas or Bodhisattvas, Pajika Buddhas or Bodhisattvas, every sage has to go through 3 stages of planting, maturing, and be liberated in the practice of the way for emancipation. 1. The initial hearing of the Buddha Dharma gives rise to the resolution to renounce. This is the root for liberation, just as if the seed were being planted. If one does not have the mental seed of renunciation. No matter how one hears the Dharma and practices, one will not be liberated. 2. Seeing the Buddha, listening to the Dharma, maintaining the practice, mental seed of liberation gradually matures just as a seed germinates, grows, leaves, and blooms. 3. Finally, when everything matures, then one can attain the fruit of realization, just as a tree bears fruit after blossoming. Some Buddhists immediately attain the fruit of realization after listening to the Buddha Dharma. Some cannot accomplish the way even after diligently practicing for their whole life. In this lifetime, whether one can, with practice, attain realization or not, or whether this realization comes quickly or if one has not planted the begun to renounce and practice this life, then hoping to attain the fruit of realization quickly is similar to expecting a recently planted seed to immediately bear fruit. If one has practiced and reached the stage of maturation in past life, then is born to this life, seeing the Buddha and hearing the Dharma, one can be enlightened. Some can even have complete realization without much effort.
Okay, thank you so much.
Whether
Oh, okay, stop first.
what's that?
Yeah, Mr. Leong, finish. Okay. We have gone through two paragraph. Okay, so from the two paragraph, actually, I mean, the theory is come from the Sarvastivada, the tradition. Okay, for everybody, if you wish if you wish, in order to enlighten, you have to go through three process. One, it's just like, they use the analogy for planting a tree. You have to plant the seed in the first place. Then it's going to mature. Then it will bear the fruit. Okay. Some people used to ask that, when will I enlighten? So the answer will be, it depends how much effort you put this life, provided your past life also. But you have to consider your past life also. You see, during our interview, in our meditation retreat, in our 2-hour meditation, you will notice that how come some people can attain easily, but some people, no matter how much effort they put, but it seems that it still cannot progress much. The reason is, you can say it's related to the past life also. Because once you have attained certain level in your past life, you will brought forward whatever attainment in the past life to this life, and you will feel so easy. It's the same with me. So some people claim that the nimitta is so hard to attain, but for some people, as long as they close their eye, immediately the nimitta arises. You see, so that is really relate to your past life. Okay, so meaning to say that if you ask how long can I enlighten? Can I enlighten this life? It depends on your past life. If your past life you don't really cultivate, so sorry. So this life, even no matter how hard you work, you can't attain. It's quite impossible. So this is the reason why sometimes we go to the original text. For some sages, they are able to attain just a very short moment, just maybe listening to one verse, one stanza, or then they get enlightened. The reason is because they have done the preparation for many lives. But for you and I, we already read so many sutra commentary. It and I have bowed so many chanting or bowed to so many repentance, but it looks quite about the same only. Because our past life, we don't really cultivate. So we just just remain as the same with me. So that is the meaning. This is a very famous in Savastivadin. Planting, mature, and bear the fruit. This is very common, very famous in Savastivadin. Okay, next paragraph. Okay. Yeah, Elena, your turn.
Whether this life's course of practice is fast or slow will therefore vary. It will depend on one's preparation in past lives and not on one's level of intelligence. Of course, there are people with sharp capacities and people with dull capacities. As discussed above, there are those who follow their beliefs and those who follow their understanding. Emphasis on the need for a teacher and for faith indicates a dull capacity, while emphasis on independent studying and wisdom indicates a sharp capacity. People of both capacity must go through the 3 stages of planting, maturing, and being liberated however. In modern Buddhist world, there are many people who have concepts that contradict the sutras and treatises. They differentiate between sharp or dull capacities merely by looking either at the effort in practice that people apply towards realization in this life or at the time needed for their realization, not knowing they have it completely reversed. Besides being differentiated in terms of emphasis on faith or on wisdom, those who are eager to succeed quickly are of dull capacity. Those who succeed later are of sharp capacity. As far as the 3 vehicles are concerned, the fundamental nature of Sravakas is dull. That of Pratyeka Buddha is medium, and that of Bodhisattva is sharp. Sravakas are dull capacity in that the time between resolving the practice and attaining liberation span at least 3 lives and possibly as many as 60 kalpas. The fundamental nature of Pratyeka Buddha is sharper, in that they require at least 4 lives and up to 100 kalpas. Bodhisattvas with sharpest capacity have to practice for 3 countless kalpas before they can ultimately emancipate. Sharp and dull capacities will be further explained according to the sutras in the following chapter.
Okay, thank you so much. Sorry, a moment away. Okay, class, according to these two paragraphs, okay, there's a facts that had been delivered. First, it's about enlightenment. It doesn't really depends on the intelligence, but depends on more of the preparation. It's not solely on the intelligence, but more on preparation. So there's one terminology to talk about. One is the dull capacity, one is the sharp capacity. Okay. For those who emphasize on relying on the teacher, they are considered as dull capacity. For those who emphasize on self-learning, self-independence, they are considered as sharp capacity. So this is one of the definition. Okay, so we can see obvious that I think you know very well whether you are sharp capacity or dull capacity. Okay, well, this is we can't. That is the definition of me, But anyway, as long as you are able to enlighten, that is the key point. Okay, because one day you might become a teacher one day. Okay, you have to guide people as a tutor maybe. So you must be able to see who are the sharp capacity and who are the dull capacity. So you will provide them the you will provide them training accordingly. All right. But from here, once we talk about the capacity, basically the definition is quite different if you put to the sages. According to the sages, Sravaka is considered Tao capacity because they are so eager to seek for enlightenment. Because for Sravaka, if they work hard, the shortest maybe 3 life and the longest maybe just a 60 kappa, a small kappa, and they are able to enlighten already. It's considered the Tao capacity. Prajika Buddha is considered the medium capacity. The reason is that the time they spend is longer than the Sravaka. Okay, and for Buddha, it's about 3 great kappa, eon kappa. So this is the sharpest capacity. So you might be surprised, how come you say Buddha takes so long time, but he is defined as a sharp capacity? The reason is whether you are sharp. You see, if you are able to spend eon of kappa in this samsara, then you are considered it's a sharp capacity. Why? Because your heart, your bodhicitta, your heart can be expanded so great. This is how the way they define whether you are sharp or Tao capacity. Because sometimes people will think that, oh, you can enlighten so soon, so fast, you are supposed to be the sharp capacity. But the situation is totally opposite now. In putting the sages. See or not? That is the meaning for the Tao and the sharp capacity. Okay. Here, let's go back to a little bit. That is the text interpretation. Okay. So let me see how. They got the kappa. You see, like Sravaka, it's about 60 kappa. Maybe we have to go a little bit. The meaning of the kappa. Let's take a look. I better go to the Wikipedia now. Kappa means the eon, you see. Kappa is a Sanskrit word meaning a relatively long period of time by human calculation in Hindu and Buddhist cosmology. All right. So in the Pali language of early Buddhism, the word takes the form kappa and is mentioned in the assumed oldest scripture of Buddhism, the Sutta Nipata. All right. So this part of the Buddhist manuscript dates back to the middle part of the last millennium. All right. So generally speaking, a kappa is the period of time between the creation and recreation of the world or universe. The definition of a kappa equaling 4.32 billion years is found in the Puranas. Wow, okay. So you can copy that. It's about 4.32 billion years for one kappa class. But for the Sravaka, you see, Sravaka, the short is a 3 life, but the long is a 60 kappa. So 60 kappa meaning to say how long is it? 60 kappa. 60 kappa meaning to say that you have to use the 60 times 4.32 billion years, you see. It sounds very long, you see. Okay, and then you go to take a look at Buddha. Buddha is a 3 great countless kappa. So meaning to say that 3 great countless times 4.32 billion years, you see. Well, class, I think it's not necessary for being worried to the year. The reason is, class, have you ever heard about that? If you go to the how to say, say that Jatu Rajika Deva. One day in Jatu Rajika Deva is about 50 years in the earth. Have you ever heard about that? Class, 有冇聽過啊喂? You heard about that, right? You see, so one day in Jaturachika, say Daikhinwang, is about 50 years here. You see, then if you go to higher a little bit, like the 33 planes, one day is about 100 years in Earth. So meaning to say that if let's say the higher you go, I mean, for Earth, we will experience a longer period compared the heaven, which is higher and higher, higher and higher than us. So we need to say that if let's say you do enter to the jhana, the time actually what you feel is very short. So we need to say that the measurement of time in our human world is, subjectively, you will feel it is very long. But for the bodhisattva, for the deva, it's very short only. Not very long one. You see or not? So that's the reason why it's not necessary to over worry regarding the incalculable and the very big number. For this figure of the lifetime to complete for the Buddhahood, no need now. Or I think maybe. Okay, do you think how many past lives we have experienced? Mr. Leong, how many past lives we have experienced, you think? On the mic. On the mic. Haven't on the mic yet.
It's higher than Mount Semeru.
Yeah, it should be the Great Eon, right? Yeah. You see, we have already passed through a Great Eon, but of course, according to the sutra, we explain that we can't find the beginning, no beginning point, since the samsara, there's no beginning point, but there is an ending if we start now. That's the only conclusion, right? To get it. Okay, so class, can you please copy down the definition for the eon is kappa, all right? Kappa, all right. One kappa is about 4.32 billion years. Just write something lah, just write something lah. Okay, next. So now we go the fruition of the Sravaka practice. Okay, so verse number 106, and also please try to complete 1, 2, 3 paragraph, because the paragraph is quite small. About 2 big paragraph. Yes, whose turn to read? Mr. Leong, are you in a good condition now, Mr. Leong?
No good condition.
No good condition. Okay, so Sally, okay, the first question, please, Sally,
The first version of the Sravaka's practice. The first version, Sarotapana. One who truly understands the true Dharma is initially called the Sarotapana. The 3 bonds are completely cut, and endless birth and death are ended. When the cultivators of Sravaka vehicle attains the holy fruit, they pass through 4 levels. Here is an explanation of the initial fruit. Contemplating the impermanence and selfishness of Dharma within dependent origination in accord with the extinction of dependent origination, which is itself a realization of the true Dharma, is called the entrance into the Dharma realm. A sage who initially realizes the true Dharma is called the Sarotapana, a Sanskrit word meaning belonging to the stream or entering the stream. A person who has practiced to this level is in accord with the stream of the nature of things and belongs among the sages of the stream level. The sutra describes the realization of the fruits of Sarotapana as understanding the Dharma, attaining the Dharma, realizing the Dharma, entering the Dharma, leaving behind all doubt, but not only through reliance upon others. Entering the true Dharma, having attained fearlessness, thus this fruit is concerned with clear understanding, self-enlightenment, and absolute faith in the true Dharma. The stage of the initial fruit has already cut the root of birth and death and the primary affliction. According to the analysis of the later philosophers, there are many afflictions. Generally, they can be divided into two categories. The first comprises afflictions that are cut off by understanding the way. These confusions of understanding are overcome by the wisdom that comes from realizing the nature of things. The second category comprises afflictions that are cut off by practicing the way. These, these confusions of practice have to be cut bit by bit through continuous practice. These afflictions that are overcome by initial fruition of belonging to confusions of understanding, which are extremely numerous. The philosophers call them the 88 confusions, but in the sutras, the Buddha always emphasized cutting away the three bonds. The three bonds, the bond of self-perception, the bond of keeping inappropriate precepts, and the bond of doubt, are completely cut, without any residue by the initial friction. The bond here is that of birth and death. So when the three bonds are cut, this means the knots of birth and death are untied.
Thank you so much. Okay, let's take a look. Okay. Once we talk about enlightenment, there will be 4 levels. Now we go to the level number 4. We call it as a sotapan. A Sanskrit word is a strotabana, a little bit different. Okay. Let me try to explain the meaning first. Later on, we'll go through maybe the more common and popular terminologies through Wikipedia. Okay. Once we are able to attain as a sotapan, basically for Theravada devotee, they will feel so joy and so blessed. The reason is for the sotapan, meaning to say that you have been liberated finally. For sotapan, if once we attain the sotapan, we just have residue of a 7 life only. After 7 life, quite 100% guarantee that you will become the arahant. Why do we say so? Because they have eradicated 3 bonds. Okay, one is the wrong perception to the body. Second is about the doubt. All right, the doubt to the dharma. And the third is the wrong view that the ascetic practice are able to lead us for liberation. Okay, so once you have already totally cut off this trail of defilement, you will be forever. No more reincarnated. Especially to the 3 woeful state. You would never be there. Okay, so that is why it had been always been complimented for the sotapan. Okay, but the way I see, maybe Seri Elena, you are more exposed in Mahayana Sutra and also the Sastra. Maybe you always keep on. You keep on be told that. You keep on for being told that. Okay, it seems that Arahant is just like a Hinayana. You should aim for Mahayana or something like that. So they keep on demean. For this type of sages. But basically, I think there will be some misunderstanding. Basically, this is quite. This is quite rare, and also it's not easy. And also we should deeply appreciate if they are able to enlighten. But if let's say you are the real bodhisattva who are able to attain to the nibbana, but you opt for just maintain in that stage, I think you are qualified to demean them. But the people like you and we are not able to produce 1 egg for the meditation. So better we don't go to demean the arahant. You get what I mean? Because sometimes, according to the sutra, the bodhisattva is those who qualify, and they try to demean the arahant. They say you shouldn't be just look for self-enlightenment without bother the people who surrounding you. You should make a great vow like a bodhisattva and just to, save everybody together. Save all of them to the other soul. Right. Okay. Well, the bodhisattva can say so because he is the bodhisattva with a higher attainment in the Samatha, Vipassana, and psychic. But once we read the sutra, we thought we are the bodhisattva. So we said that, how come you? We will pinpoint the Theravada and say that, oh, you are the Hinayana, you see, according to the sutra. So we demean them. Sometimes this is a misunderstanding. So get the point, So next time, don't call people as a Hinayana. Don't call Theravada as a Hinayana. That is a misunderstanding. I think Mr. Leong, you understand what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, it's an insult by using the name Hinayana.
Hinayana. That's a humiliation, all right? Okay. Yeah. So next time, we have to remember that we are not the bodhisattva, so we shouldn't mention in this way. Okay. Well, just now you highlight 2 words. One is about way of understanding. One is understanding or practice, understanding of there's 2 terminology you underline. All right. Well, basically, class, this is from the Sarvastivada. This is not that common. I don't use it. Okay, so maybe you just know to that. I mean, I wouldn't emphasize a lot. If let's say it is quite particular to the Savastiwada, I will try to use especially the part which is more common with the Theravada, so that Mr. Leong won't confuse, and also it will mesh well with the coming Abhidhamma. Okay, you get it? So something I wouldn't emphasize a lot. The reason is that will just create more confusion only. Okay, is there anybody can search for me why the way of understanding and the way a way of understanding 见道和修道 way of practicing, is this correct? We highlight this too. Yes, okay. So we will just, we'll just ignore them. As you know, oh, this is true, it's under Savastiwada. So class, you can just highlight it's under Savastiwada. We wouldn't go further. Okay. It may. Okay, let's go back. I think we have to go to some the more proper terminologies in Wikipedia. So class, let me go through this. So we call it as entrance into the Dharma realm. All right. So okay, belonging to the stream. Yes. Okay, entering the stream. A class. Sorry, entering the stream is very common. These words. Even though after the translation, we used to say Sotapan is entering the stream. Even you talk to the Mandarin educated, they understand, oh, entering the stream means Sotapan. We know very well what the stream, the stream of the supra mandate of Eight Noble Path. That's the stream of supra mandate. So we hope one day we are able to enter to the stream. Okay, let's go further. Then, okay, here we talk about the sutra, describe, understand the Dharma, attaining the Dharma, realizing the Dharma, and enter the Dharma. Okay, here the Dharma means the Nibbana. Okay, the Dharma means the Nibbana. You see, entering the true Dharma, all this pinpoint to the Nibbana. Okay, having attained fearlessness. Yes, no more fearful once attained. Can you check for me the reference for number 56, class?
SA30.
Or SA30, Samatha Agama Samatha Agama.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. 30 30 Mr. Leong, right?
Correct. 30.
Oh, how come you read it as a 30? Okay, you see, the key one mentions it cut the root of the birth and death. Then secondly, it's about three born, you see, so maybe I have to search properly. Mr. Long, have you gone through three born this word?
I think the 3 bonds are the 3 factors that we need to eliminate before achieving the status of Sotapanna.
Yes, I think 3 factor might be the proper words. I think 3 factor, right? This is the proper words and more common in Theravada, I think. They are Sotapan. Yes, 3 factor. So class, please have a slight change to the 3 bond. You can just highlight also the 3 factor. Yes, factor. 3 factor. And also please add one more, Samyojana. Okay. And the 3 bond, the more proper words is this. Please copy down. If you don't want, you can ignore the Pali terms of self-view, clinging to the rights and richer, and skeptical indecision. The English is so good. Yeah, the 3 bond, this is more formal. Please write it down. 3 bond, this 3 bond. Self-view, clinging to the rights and richer, skeptical indecision. Sakayatiti, Silabata Paramasa, Vichikissa. The Pali word is a little bit difficult, so we go back to English. Okay. Finish already, copy. Sally, Elena. Oh, so soon. Okay, so class, the meaning for the clinging to the right, to the rise and richer, meaning to say that you believe through you are able to enlighten through excess-cladic practice. That's a wrong one. Okay, so once you attain to the Sotaban, you no more belief. So you just persist on the ignoble path. Okay, so that is the meaning. So let's continue. Okay. Samyojana. This is more proper word. Okay. Okay. So next paragraph. Right. Whose turn, Elena? I think. The born.
The bond of perception of a permanent self, the illusory attachment to the self, is the root of birth and death. Arising from perception of a permanent self are the views of I and mine. Nihilism, eternalism, monism, pluralism, existence, non-existence, and so on. When self-perception is cut through, all these are cut through as well. Inappropriate percepts are meaningless, non-Buddhist percepts. After understanding the truth, one will no longer mistakenly think that non-Buddhist religious conduct can lead to liberation. One will no longer cling to such things or study with heretics. There are many inappropriate non-Buddhist precepts. The simpler ones include, for example, not eating cooked food, not cutting one's hair, assembling on certain days of the month to make offering to spirits, imitating cows and dogs, not eating pork, not eating blood, and so forth. The stranger ones involve eating feces, urine, semen, and menses, and exposing oneself to the sun in the summer, and sleeping on ice in the winter. There are also all kinds of taboos and prayers. One no longer clings to all these diverse inappropriate precepts as pure.
Yeah, thank you so much. Okay. Two paragraph already. Okay, class, number one is, as we mentioned just now, is regards, let's see. Yeah, number one is a self-view, sakaya titi. So second is clinging to the rise and the richer, sila pata paramasa, clinging to the rise and richer. Oh, what's this? Yes. So let's take a look. This is the exastic which mentioned from paragraph. Let's take a look. They sit on the new bed. Okay. So class, you see, they try to wear something to imprison themselves. So you see, this one is without wearing any clothes, right? Naked, you see. So I think this is never. I think this is never cutting the hair. You see. You see. Yeah, it's a different type of a voodoo. They call it as a exastic practice. You see. Yeah, really slip on the nail. You see. This is a good example without cutting the hair. You see. Mr. Leong, you think how long it takes for to give such a long hair? You think, Mr. Leong? You have it on your mind yet, Mr. Leong? Oh, okay, okay.
I think 50, 60 years. This is from the Abhaya Giri sack.
Oh, yes, okay, 50, 60 years, okay. So you see, this is with the multiple ways of exastic practice, you see. Yeah. Okay, Okay, let's see again. Yeah, that's all we can file, yeah. For those who imitate the cow, imitate the dog, we don't see, and also eating the feces, eating the urine, we don't see also. Why they will do so? The reason is for some guru, when they see the dog pass away, immediately the soul of the dog reborn as Deva. So he think, oh, there must be the dog. Why the dog are reborn as Deva? It must be the dog eat the facet. So they will immediate the dog to eat the facet. Well, how come this happened? The reason is their psychic is not good enough. The wisdom is not good enough. Even though they got the psychic, but they are not able to see the life. The past many life of the dog as a human. That is the karma which make the dogs reborn as a deva, not the dog itself. So we must be able to follow a good teacher, because the wisdom of the good teacher able to see farther. So they follow the wrong teacher, and so they all just follow it, the facet and also the urine. Okay, so just now is an example. Okay, some why they have to sleep on the new bed, because they believe that is the symptom, that is the eradication of the karma. So all the karma will be eradicated by just torture your body and suffer yourself. That is the exastic practice. Yeah, Sally, I think quite sure you won't follow because you want to bake the cake. That is the joy practice. It's not the exastic practice. Right? That's the opposite. One we call it, you just try to suffer, bring all the suffering in your life. Another type is just bring a lot of joy for your life. But we go to the middle. We don't overindulge in the joy, and we don't go to look for the torturing to ourselves. Okay, next, let's take a look. Okay, so this is the meaning here. The whole sentence is about this. So next, okay, yes, Sally, okay. Yeah, Sally, your turn. Okay, the bond.
Mr. Leong, you read lah.
Okay, Mr. Leong, yeah.
The bond of doubt is having doubt with respect to the Buddha,
Oh, he's not
the
playing the
Dharma.
piano.
Frozen.
Yes, you are frozen. Sally, you read. Yeah.
Okay, the bond of doubt is having doubt with respect to the Buddha.
Frozen already.
The bond of doubt is having doubt with respect to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Four Truths and Dependent Origination, and the Sangha. Understanding the true Dharma means to see things completely clearly, and there will be no longer any question of belief or doubt. In the course of practice, this affliction becomes subdued. Only when one realizes the nature of things is the root cut through completely, such that it will never arise again. By understanding the true Dharma, overcoming the affliction on one end, the cycle of birth ends the cycle of birth and death. Because the bitter fruit of birth and death comes from affliction. When the cause is cut, so is the effect. After attaining the initial fruit, it can be said that one has stopped endless birth and death. The sutra describes this as analogous to the big pond that is drying up with only 1 or 2 drops of water left.
Okay,
This
then. Okay, let's see. Is this? Oh no, quite long. Okay, never mind. We stop here. We digest first. Okay. Sally, you stop here.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, a class according to the sutra, if you are able to enlighten, I mean to attain to the first sotapan, okay, basically you will have 100% faith to the Dharma, to the triple gem, all right. But here the triple gem are also pinpoint to the Nibbana. So class always remember, because once they experience the Nibbana, so the confidence rise from the Nibbana. And also confidence on, they also confid on the Nibbana. So I mean, from it they will go up. So once they see the triple gem, they will 100% have the confidence over there. Okay, so that is the meaning for this. Okay, next, let's keep on. So Elena, your turn to read the next, or this is the big paragraph. This analogy, please.
This analogy can be explained in more detail. Before one realizes the nature of things, future birth and death are endless. After entering the stream and cutting the three bonds, one never falls into the evil destinies again. Since the karma that leads to the three evil destinies has ceased to be effective, the bitter fruit of the three evil destinies never arises. What is left behind is the karmic reward of being born as a divine being or a human. This is known as the maximum of 7 existences. One may be born in the heavens or in the human world 7 times at most, after which birth and death will cease forever and one will enter nirvana. Thus, at the stage of the initial fruition, birth and death are almost completely cut off. Although there is a body that is born and dies, and although there is still the possibility of 7 births and deaths as a divine being or as a human, the end of birth and death is near. Of the holy stages, the initial fruition is the most precious and most difficult to attain. After one attains the first fruit, it can be said that the birth and death will definitely come to an end. It is like splitting bamboo. After cutting through the first node, cutting through the second and the remaining ones up to the end is effortless. Attaining this fruition should be the only goal for those who study the Buddha Dhamma.
Okay, thank you so much. off the mic, please, after the reading. Yeah, class. Okay. Well, what we highlight, actually, I mentioned just now. First, once you attain to the sotapan, you will never fall to the three woeful state. The reason is the karma to reborn to that state gone already. So this is the first one. All right. Second, maximum 7 existence. After 7 light, sure you will become end of your nibbana. Okay. So the end of the class today.